Hello, I'm wيرلمان. Secular liberal democracies are waging a war against Islamic schools and Muslim parents across the European continent. A bona fide war of discrimination that has gained little attention in the international media. From Sweden to France, from Austria to the United Kingdom, European governments are weaponizing Islamophobia to shrink the space where Muslims can freely practice their faith without fear of prejudice or harassment. In other words, anti-democratic laws are being put in place to erase Muslims from visible public life, which, when you think about it, constitutes a non-violent form of ethnic cleansing. This is the total opposite of how secular democracy is meant to work, because this is an outrageous attack on basic human rights. But we start with Sweden, a Scandinavian country that's been held aloft as a shining beacon for secular democratic values.
Sweden is banning religious schools. A new bill prevents private religious schools from expanding, but so far it's only targeted Islamic institutions.
Earlier this year, the Al-Azhar private Islamic school became the 17th Islamic school to be shut down since 2019. One of the parents said his children cried for days when he told him that the school had been closed. Today, only 2 Islamic schools remain open in Sweden. But meanwhile, schools for Protestant, Catholics and Jewish students continue to survive and thrive, therefore demonstrating how Muslim children are being unfairly targeted because of their religious faith. The move to ban these schools is motivated exclusively by the rise of racist far-right politics in the country, with human rights experts warning Sweden is facing a scourge of Islamophobia, is illustrated with a spike in anti-Muslim hate crimes and the recent burning of the Quran in front of the Turkish embassy in Stockholm. And if you want a visual for why Muslim parents are often reluctant or scared to send their children to the country's public schools, then watch a Swedish teacher harass her Muslim student in front of the class late last year.
Vet du vad en drake? Vet du vad en man har? Ja, vad har han? Vad har han? Säg! Vad heter det? Vad heter det? Ja men kom igen! Hur länge har du bott i Sverige? Vad heter det?
Ursäkta, jag kan inte stanna här.
Det gör du! Du sitter ner här! Du sitter ner här!
Jag kan inte göra rätt.
Du kan inte! Du spy! Varsågod!
Wow. When you see that, then you see why Muslim schools have become so popular with Muslim parents. But the Swedish government continues to close them down because of Islamophobic conspiracy theories that falsely allege Islamic schools produce religious extremism and poor academic performance. These falsehoods have seen dozens of Islamic schools shut down in France during recent years, with 2 more closed down by the government in November, and not too long before that, it also shut down the only Muslim school in Paris. Time after time, allegations of Islamic schools pushing Islamic extremism to Muslim students has been proven false, as typified by the bogus Operation Trojan Horse scandal that gripped England 10 years ago, when a hoax letter claimed Islamic extremists had infiltrated Muslim schools in Birmingham. This proven hoax caused a nationwide panic among white Brits, like this elderly lady here.
They live here. They should do what English people do. Go to school, learn English, English ways. They don't like it, they can always go home.
But even though Operation Trojan Horse proved to be a baseless anti-Muslim conspiracy, the UK government still shut down a number of Islamic schools, including one in Birmingham and another that was built by the legendary song artist Yusuf Islam, who was previously known as Cat Stevens. This is the unmistakable power of Islamophobia, which has become the only acceptable form of racism and prejudice in the West, because you can discriminate against Muslims in a way that would have you jailed if you said the exact same thing about anybody else. I mean, imagine the outcry among Western liberals if European governments were closing down Jewish schools based only on anti-Islamic conspiracy theories. But contrary to misguided Islamophobic narratives, private Islamic schools teach a national curriculum in England, France and Sweden, while also providing students with Islamic scripture and halal food, no different than the kind of education you find at a Catholic or Jewish high school or college. Moreover, these schools provide their students a safe space, away from the kind of harassment and discrimination that Muslim children endure from racist individuals and racist government laws, like in France, where the hijab and other forms of Islamic clothing have been banned. But here's the truth the mainstream media is unwilling to report. Muslim schools dominate academic performance standards in UK and across Europe.
This is a phenomenal level of progress, and clearly the school has been able to overcome many of the challenges that children face, of course, within the home, within the social context, of course, but as well as issues to do with motivation have been overcome as well. So it's a tremendous result for pupils, for parents, and for the teachers concerned.
The head student at a Muslim school. So here's my final message to every Western secular democratic country. Keep your hands off Muslim kids. Their parents and their preferred schools know exactly what they are doing, and they're doing it far better than your publicly funded and dilapidated educational institutions. It's time to end your racism and bigotry against Muslim parents and their children.